You know what I think could change the sway of the coaches? Moving Tyler out to the left tackle spot is if week 1 against the Eagles, Dak Prescott gets sacked 10 times.
Yeah.
Right? Like if Guyton's not out there.
It happened against Pittsburgh last year. I think they had to move him out the left tackle for a little bit.
Yep.
Actually, if you think about it, that was probably the best we ran the ball all year in that game when actually Zach Martin went out, I think, for a little bit. But, yeah, that offensive line where they put Bass back in that left guard. And, it was a good little line. And so I think it could work. But that's my plan if long-term Guyton, has a setback or something like that. I don't trust the training staff like a lot of people do. I don't personally. So when I hear 4 to 6 weeks, I think 8 to 10.
Really? So you're times in it one. You're going 1.5, almost 2 times in what they say. It's like 1.5. You're times in it by 1.5. You're saying You're saying 4 to 6. I'm times it out by 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, just based off of like the last 2 major injuries we had, Deron Bland was supposed to be back, I think, in the 4-week timetable, and he ended up being. I don't think we saw him until about week 8. Yep. And then Micah, I think, with his ankle injury, he was only supposed to be out 2 weeks, and he ended up being out like 4. So
you're not feeling it. You're saying the 4 to 6 is just to try to make everybody not hit the panic button, and now you're making me almost hit the panic button.
Well, I'm just saying it's a fracture. So, I mean, it's a little bit – I mean, maybe 4 to 6 weeks he can resume activity, but does that mean you can actually play on it? Will you be in shape? Will you feel confident in that 4 to 6 weeks? So, that's just something to think about.
Yeah, and AJ, I know you kind of hit up some Grok, and Grok's great for – hey, it's AI. It is what it is, but you use Grok and it can compile a lot of info. Give us some of your findings when you tried to dive into this, because you weren't sold on the week – at first, you were thinking, what, week 6?
I called I think he'll return for the Panthers game. But then I got cold feet and said, okay, maybe week 2. But the reason is because I think the median, and of course these knee injuries are all different, right? And position based too. So say a wide receiver who gets this injury, it's going to be different than a lineman.
Yeah.
Because of the use of the knee for the position. However, that being said, I think the median time for return was like 70 days, 71 days or something like that. So that would bring us to like week 6 against the Panthers. But I do think we would see him return to action on getting some practice reps in and that around anytime between week 4 and 6, but I would go the latter side of that. But let's not expect him for the first week for sure.
Yep.
And we got to move forward with that knowledge. And sorry, you mentioned, Tyler Smith played about 104 snaps at left tackle last year. He played 50 in week 5 and 50 in week 6.
And 5, that was roughly. The Steelers, wasn't it? Week 5 was the Steelers.
5 and 6, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, pull up this screen. You guys aren't confident with this guy coming in and manning the left tackle spot? You're not okay with this? Isn't the plan all along? Bring in old Leal. Hey, don't get me wrong. I loved Leal. I love what Leal's attitude was when he was with the Cowboys. I like that he had that punchy in the mouth attitude, but like Ad brought up, they moved on from him for a reason, right? He's fizzled out. He's not on a team for a reason. But it puts out there like, maybe the plan, maybe the person that's going to be starting at left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, maybe he's not even on the team right now.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't played since 2022, eh?
Yeah, he's been, I think with Cincinnati, was that the last place he played? He's been out for a bit, but there's going to be training camp cuts from other teams. There's going to be some left tackles that come available. Do you guys think that there's somebody out there, a team out there that's so enriched with left tackles that they might have to just be a numbers game and get rid of somebody that might not be great, but is better than what the Cowboys have on their roster right now?
I'm just gonna throw some stuff up against the wall on this one. There is a guy who just retired that's in pretty good shape that maybe you might want to kick the tires on and see if he would do it. I think you could get a couple guys. I mean, Dak showed up to his wedding. Maybe Tyron Smith.
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I would trust Tyron Smith even though he didn't have as great of a year, more than I would trust Lyle Collins.
Same. And you know you're not getting 17 games out of Tyron Smith, but you just need him to be there until Guyton's back, and he's familiar with the Cowboys, what they do. I like that. I would feel more confident with Tyron Smith coming back than bringing in Lyle Collins. I agree with that 100%.
I'd throw this at him. I'd say, hey, we'll give you a minimum signing bonus or the minimum contract. We'll give you $1 million for each game you play. So he plays 5 games, $5 million plus the minimum. He plays 6 games, $6 million plus the minimum. I don't know if that's going to be enough for him, but like, hey, he thinks he's retired and he can make another $6 million or whatever. Like,
but every time you give up a sack, you lose $100K.
yeah.
That's the stipulation.
Well, if you guys remember, he spent his offseason working with Guyton. So it's like, I don't know. See, the thing about it though is linemen, when they finish playing football, it's the opposite. Like skill positions, those guys gain weight and they get fat. Mm-hmm. But linemen, all of a sudden, they decide, hey, I want to get lean and I want to lose a whole bunch of weight. So who knows, like what his training was like, or if the only thing I would just ask the question. But I do know that he had been working with Guyton on some of his stuff, so maybe he's still sharp.
I like that you said that. Yeah. You're right. Skill players, like look at Shady McCoy there, that fat little. Great shape his whole career. He leaves to the NFL to talk shit about the Cowboys on TV and he gains weight. But then, you see Jason Kelce from the Eagles ends up becoming this slim guy. All these NFL linemen just kind of shrink in weight size anyways. They're not trying to maintain their weight, right? They're just, they're all active and they shrink right up. But Tyron Smith was always one of those leaner.
He was always lean.
He was always lean. Like that guy, I'm pretty sure had at least a 6-pack or a 4-pack his whole playing days. Like the guy, for a left tackle, he was built like a brick shit house. So I would like to see that. And if he was in playing shape, that would be the only problem I could see, is he's not in the time that it would take him to get ready to play week 1. It just wouldn't be enough time. That I think would be the only reason that it wouldn't be a good idea.
Exactly. Well, but hey, what kind of playing shape is Lyle in?
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, exactly. If we're going to go to the well of players who haven't been in the NFL or haven't been training to be on an NFL team at least, sure, I would go with Smith over Collins. But I think at the end of the day, whatever they go with, the smartest move would be to have a guy who has some versatility on the line. So then when he does move to a backup position, we can at least strengthen the positions across the line. Because remember, what's the percentage chance of another lineman going down for a couple games? It's pretty high. And I'd love to just, whoever we bring in is someone who's not just like a spaghetti on the wall type guy. Well, in a sense, I guess, but also someone who has some versatility. So if we need to, it's not like, oh, now we got to go out and find a right guard as well to replace Booker or something like that if he gets injured. So,
trust me, we got 1 million guards.
Yeah, we could do that. That's the thing. We could deal with guards that could come in and start. TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman. Then you got Tyler Booker, the starter. You have Tyler Smith, the starter. Who else is backing up those guys? But those are forced.
Austin Richards plays guard too.
Could play guard.
A lot of people say he's better at guard than tackle.
Right. So the guard, you have guys that they could step in, and like DMV said, when you had a TJ Bass, I remember TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman were in for one of the games, and I was like, oh my God, here we go. This is gonna be brutal. And it was the best the running game had looked. Right? Like they had some attitude to them. So I was even surprised, and this is going a little off topic, like we do in CanFan, we do side missions occasionally. I was surprised when they drafted Tyler Booker because I thought Brock Hoffman could start, and I thought if Brock Hoffman couldn't start, TJ Bass could possibly beat him out for that starting position. I didn't think it was a need, but we upgraded. Like we did upgrade. Tyler Booker is an upgrade to either of those guys, but we kind of have the riches at guard, and now we're kind of like, well, we're talking about Lyle Collins.
I totally agree. I actually thought that if we were going to pick an offensive lineman, it should have been Simmons, which he somehow fell down because of his injury. Ironically, our left tackle got injured, and Simmons is out in KC killing right now. The rich get richer, But I thought that there was a lineman we was going to get. I thought it was going to be him.
Yeah, it's kind of the sick joke that we've dealt with here. And if it's not the offensive line, it's the defensive line. But let's not go all doom and gloom. Before I bring up this next article.
Yeah, I'm ready to fucking sign off from your guys' conversation here.
Okay, AJ.
I got one. Sorry,
bookend it.
One last thought, and maybe I don't know what you're going to talk about next, but I'm also, something to keep in mind is until we get Guyton back in his playing form, how much is that going to limit the Cowboys' offense? And are we going to see that full potential when he returns? Or we're going to have to wait for his return to see that full potential? I hope whoever they bring in would be adequate enough that it's not going to affect the game plan, but it definitely could, right? And so we might not be able to see that true caliber. And we've seen CeeDee Lamb have late starts and finish, as the second or top wide receiver, right? So.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to.
I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was the end.
That wasn't even a hard stop. That was like a soft. That was like a soft roll.
Like a little trail off.
No mic drop.
little just trail off. No, you're right. CD did have some slow starts, but we've seen this offense the last couple of years have slow starts. Last year, especially. Last year was just. I don't even want to talk about last year. Talking about negative stuff. I just want to erase that from my memory. But even in 2023, when Dak Prescott was the second in voting for MVP, CeeDee Lamb was an absolute dog. We have to remember they started off kind of slow. Mm-hmm. They did. They started off slow. But one thing that I know all of us want, we want to see a running game, and having injuries happen to your starting linemen, including one guy that you took in the first round just over a year ago, it makes you start feeling like, oh, did we do enough in the offseason? And I hope the Cowboys did.
Well, there's a good thing about what we've done in the offseason, and I think his name is George Pickens, because if you guys saw him today, I think he snagged in a couple touchdowns. I know they put Turpin in the slot. He snagged a long touchdown. Dak is starting to gel with these guys down the field. And so that's a portion of being able to protect your quarterback too, because, hey, do I want to blitz these guys? Do I want to be aggressive? Because George Pickens can win 50-50 situations, as he's been doing all camp and throughout his career. So, that's an answer for some of it. Yeah, as you're showing the clip right there, man, George Pickens had a heck of a day today.
Oh, yeah.
And the guys are really gravitating towards him. He's gravitating towards them as well. So I love what I'm seeing from that chemistry standpoint.
Let's watch it one more time because this is a beautiful pass.
Heck yeah.
Dak can't hit the long ball. Dak can't hit the long ball. Yo, coach, Dak hits the long ball. And George, look at this little thing. I like it. That's like a dance move I would be doing. I don't know, George. I need a little bit more than that because I could probably do that dance move.
He had a couple. Yeah. He had a couple saucy catches today.
I think he scored so much he probably ran out of celebrations by now.
Yeah,
he's saving them for the season.
Hey, well, he better have 12, at least 12 individual touchdown celebrations in his pocket. I'd like to see that.
Here's another one. Just another one.
Talking Dez numbers.
Let it load up, and then this is another one. Back the end zone. Can't really see it with the camera angle, so let's get it one more time. Because George Pickens having a day. Dak throwing absolute dimes too, man. Look at this, to the back of the end zone.
Today. He was sharp today.
I've seen quite a few of these bomb passes to Pickens. And problem is, I don't know if it's the same one from a different angle or not, but it seems like that Dak to Pickens deep connection is, they're already in a nice rhythm with that. So that's good to see.
Yeah. The thing with Dak, and obviously, again, this is training camp. So
yeah, but you want to see it though.
Exactly. So
I know people say it's training camp, but you could have a training camp when you don't see that.
Well, and
then what are you saying? Well, it's just training camp.
Well, ideally, this is where I was going with this.
Sorry. I'll let you finish
although it's just training camp, you're seeing.
Yeah, I know it is.
You're seeing the chemistry. I mean, you see how Dak and some of the Joe Milton when they're hitting these other receivers and they're just not getting that level, and then all of a sudden Dak connection with CeeDee Lamb, you're like, okay, there's perfect chemistry. They're in sync with each other. CeeDee's catching it, and CeeDee looks far above, leagues above everybody else. Well, then you start seeing clips like this with GP3 making those catches and those snags, and you're just like, oh, dude, it feels too good to be true.
Well, let me say, because we've talked about negative for a good portion of it. How stoked?
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to get to. That's why I was like,
how stoked? How stoked are we for George Pickens?
Stoked.
I'm jacked up.
Yeah, I'm jacked up and ready to JO.
Week one, we might all be wearing number 3s. Like we might all be wearing number 3s. Honestly, like George Pickens is the best signing the Cowboys have had in like free agent signing the Cowboys have had in years. CeeDee Lamb's never had that true number 2. I don't add the year that him and Amari Cooper were together, the couple years, because CD wasn't CD yet. Like CD wasn't a top 5 receiver yet. CeeDee Lamb's a top 5 receiver. George Pickens could be. I'm in a fantasy football league that I've been in for about 10 years. It's multiple quarterbacks. I already told everybody who's going to stop me because I'm drafting CD 1, Dak 2, and George Pickens 3. So you bitches better stop me because I'm all in on these guys. I honestly think both could have 1,000 yards, and I think both could almost push 8 to 10 touchdowns. Like I'm very convinced, and I try not to be a homer with the Cowboys as much as possible, but I just don't see teams being able to stop both of those guys. And I think at any given week, either of those dudes
are going to
CD or George Pickens could hit 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention too, one thing I want to add to that is that our backs, our running backs. Now, I've been overly critical of the running backs that we have as far as running the football. Like, I don't think that they're guys that are creators, but those guys can catch the ball and do some things in the air, which I wouldn't argue against. So I actually think we're going to throw the ball a lot this year.
Even to our running backs
to do so.
Yeah. So I'm not to go all the way over to running backs, but like with who are you thinking is there a clear cut RB1 from what you've been hearing or seeing so far? Like, do you what camp are you in for the running backs? Who's your dog in the race?
So I think that Miles Sanders probably has the most experience of doing it. So I think he's probably in the lead. I've been hearing some really good things like off the camera that they're not really showing about Javonte Williams. They say that he since the pads have come on, he's run a little bit tougher, but you know, Blue has started to get some reps with the ones, and that started yesterday. So I think that the preseason games are really going to determine it. And for me, I'm hoping that we don't sit anybody. I hope we get a look at everybody.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Deuce because Deuce was looking like the best one of them before he went down with that hammy injury, before pads went on. And so, you know, you got to be available in order to have that chance. But I don't know. I think it's up for grabs still. I
got to ask you quickly, what were your thoughts, and since we're talking about Deuce Vaughn, when they drafted Deuce? Because we were all hypercritical of the pick. I
love the pick.
You love the pick?
I love the pick. I love the pick.
We were haters. We were haters, and I feel bad now because Deuce is so cute.
But he's a baller, man.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is like at Kansas State, he had dominant tape. Like there are a lot of running backs that people wanted. And I said to myself, well, is their tape better than Deuce's was? And so you get Deuce, you have his best offensive lineman who from college is our center now. And then you have the offensive line coach so I think that there's going to be a lot of chemistry there. And he was looking good until that hammy, but it's like, hey, bro, we need healthy bodies.
Do you think he could be on the outskirts? Because what do you think? The Cowboys, realistically, just because we're on running backs here, they keep what, 4? Are they on active day roster? Is it even 4? You think? I'm thinking kind of 4, maybe like because our wide receiver room's so good. Maybe on game day, maybe 3, and you roll 7 wide receivers, possibly. I don't know, but 4 is kind of the number. I think
4 counting Lipke, right? Like
okay,
the 4th,
okay,
right?
Yes.
Yep.
So who are your 3 then? And
right now,
we'll say the 3.
Right now, my three are Williams, Sanders, and Blue.
Yeah, I mean, and we've all kind of said that we like Maffa, Phil Maffa out of Clemson just because he's that bigger body, and I would love to see him be able to stick on the practice squad and kind of work his way through it. But are we confident? The PFF, we went through this a couple weeks ago. PFF ranked the Dallas Cowboys as the third highest running back room in the NFL. Do you agree with that?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Like,
all right.
Yeah. Just simply because like this draft was super deep at running back. And there were a lot of teams that got better. Like if you look tonight, if you look at the Chargers, for example, them getting Omari Hampton, that considerably made them better. If you look at like Denver, who we ended up getting their scraps in Javonte Williams. They went and got RJ Harvey. I just think that this deep draft that we just kind of allowed 5 rounds to go before we got a back, a lot of teams ended up getting backs and making their rooms better. Like, look at the Jets, for example. Like, they got Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. A lot of those guys got 2 backs. Yeah. And we're trying to figure out who our RB1 is.
So, okay, quickly on the draft, who would you have dropped with in the top 5 rounds? What pick would you have swapped out to draft one running back?
Pick 4.
And
it would have been. Yeah, I would have loved to have had our
having pick 4 would have been beautiful in the last 2 drafts. Yeah. Having pick 4 would have been beautiful.
That's why I wanted to bring up the whole wasting the 4th round pick kind of thing. Ridiculous. But I think that I don't think that I would have drafted Revel being hurt. I would have drafted Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round.
Okay,
that would have been my pick.
Hey, and we were huge. Like, we were baffled watching the draft because we all wanted a running back. We do quite a bit of draft coverage. Like, we've been starting to get better. We've been watching tape. We've been doing mock drafts. Like, 5 years ago when we started this, we knew the 1st round guys, right? That was pretty much the meat and potatoes of what we did. Now in the offseason, we try to put some time and effort into it, and we were all the same. Every single draft we did, we took a running back in the top 3 picks. There was just no way we didn't. So we were kind of like that too. We kind of felt a little bit let down, but we also had Blue as a 4th round guy. So we were pretty happy getting him in the 5th. And I still have qualms. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to be a 250 plus carry type guy. Like, of course he's going to be that guy in the passing game. I think he's got the speed. You've seen it. He's got the hands. But to have this big question mark going into the season is a little bit scary. Our offensive line is a little bit of a question mark right now, according to our tackles. So I'm interested in these preseason games. Probably the most involved I've been since we started doing the show. Like,
preseason's usually I'm excited for preseason. Now it's like, man, I'm
gonna say it's exciting though, man. Like, I mean, even though like we have question marks, we're about to get them answered, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.